Hey guys, welcome back to the shoulder series, day number 5. So today, as promised, we're gonna work on some more shoulder flexion because it's a little important for overhead movements. So we've worked on rotation, the capsule, we've worked on stretching into this movement. Now we're gonna work on the end range strength. So a lot of times we get good flexibility and we just don't have the full control or strength at that end range. The end range position and the strength is actually really, really important and very neglected a lot of the times, but not for you guys because we're including it today. So the exercise we're gonna work on for that is called lumbar locked shoulder flexion lift off. So we're going to just kind of lift, find a position where we lift just barely off the ground or off of the blocks, depending on which progression you're able to do. And it's really just focusing on that end range strength. So this is the position. So you're gonna start here on your knees. Then we're gonna lean forward, collapsed all the way down. The reason we're gonna do that is because that minimizes the compensations. Again, we're really big on compensations because if you're doing a movement, you wanna make sure you're doing the movement from that joint, not from something else. If you're compensating a lot, then you don't own the movement, and that's kind of the whole point of the series. So from here, again, rib cage goes onto your legs, arms go straight out in front like so. From here, you're going to reach as far as you can forward. You're going to take a deep breath into your belly, make it nice and tight, and then you're going to attempt to lift up and off the ground. Keep your shoulders straight, lift and hold for 5 seconds. Now, if that feels pretty easy and you're able to get all the way up to here, then you're not really at your end range. End range means you can only get up to a little bit off the ground. So I'm gonna show you the progression for that. I have yoga blocks today. Depending on what is easy for you or hard, you can make it as high. You can use a stack of books, you can use a lot of different things. Just make sure as you lift, you're not lifting your whole rib cage up and coming off of here or coming off of your feet. So here's the progression for it. Same position, but shoulders are in more flexion. They're just off the ground a little. Same exact thing, take a deep breath into your belly and lift. That's the progression. Now, for those of you who aren't able to lift without these off the ground, that's okay. You don't have to lift off completely. Just focus on the connection to your shoulders. So that's gonna be all this stuff in the back of your shoulder here that are trying to lift that up. You want, even if you can't feel it or it just doesn't feel like anything's happening, I still want you to do this exercise. It will come, it's just you're not there yet, and that's what means this is a really good exercise for you because you need to. So for those of you who have a hard time finding it, assume the same position and you're just going to contract and focus on lifting as much as you can without compensating and lifting your shoulders up to your ears and all kinds of things like that. So what I want you to think about is if your hands were on a scale and they weighed like 10 pounds or something like that, I want you to imagine that you're lifting just enough so that maybe they weigh 9 or 8. So just a pound, just very light, just like you're taking pressure off the hands. So that's still gonna be achieving the same thing if you were able to lift it off or not. It's not about what the movement looks like, it's about what it feels like. So pay really close attention to that. It's gonna look and feel differently for everybody, but you should really focus on just getting those up or moving them up a little bit. So with that being said, that is, again, shoulder flexion. Sometimes if you feel like this is too progressed, go back to shoulder flexion. Maybe we need to go back to external rotation, internal rotation one of the first 3 days. Make sure you have the range first, and then we work on the strengthening. But you can't strengthen when your joint's not working properly, and that's why we assessed and worked on just the pure range of motion and flexibility. Flexibility first. So that's something to keep in mind before you progress to this. We tend to want to do everything all at once, but there's a reason that we had these in a stepwise fashion. Make sure you own one before you're moving to the other. With that being said, that is everything with shoulder flexion lift-offs. We are going to move into some of the core stuff because as you notice, this compensation is huge and that's all core connection. So tomorrow, day number 6, we're gonna work on that, so stay tuned and we'll see you then.